A few years ago, I lost about $20 million. Not in a bad investment, not as a bad luck. I just said no at the wrong moment. Came back 4 months later and the offer was worth 20% of what it had been. And here is the interesting part. I think it's one of the best things that ever happened to me. Now, before you watch this video, let me assure you, I'm not going to tell you to be grateful for your problems. I think that advice is mostly garbage. And to be honest, that loss of 20 million sucked for me for a while. I'm going to show you instead something more useful, that the way you see a situation isn't just a nice mindset trick. It changes what the situation actually does to you. There's a lot of research on this. And once you get it, you stop trying to get through life and start doing what I call dual work. And one more thing, if you have not met before, quick context, I'm Yogi. I spent 6 years at Meta, then called Facebook, as a research scientist before I started coaching engineers and tech leaders through exactly these difficult moments, emotionally as well as business-wise. The promotion, the politics, the conversation nobody wants to have. At the end of Meta, I negotiated an offer at Uber from $320K to over $1 million back in 2017. And it was a fascinating experience, going up 3x in my negotiation. And now I've helped countless people do multiple six-figure negotiations and much more for their career. Now back to the story about losing $20 million. Most of us live like this. We think, once I get through this hard stretch, then I'll grow. Once I land the job, then I'll relax. Once I make the money, then I'll be generous. We treat life as two piles. The bad pile, we want to survive. And the good pile, we're waiting for. And we spend our whole lives shoving things from one pile to the another, and then things get from other pile to the first one. And here is the problem with this way of thinking. The truth is, the hard stretch is the growth. There's no after. Zen Buddhism has this line: before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. Nothing changes. You still do the dishes. The only thing that changes is what's happening inside of you while you do them. And let me be frank with you, this isn't just spiritual talk. Stanford researcher Alia Crum has shown that whether you believe stress is enhancing or debilitating, actually changes how your body responds to it. Your hormones, your focus, your performance, yada, yada, yada. Same stress, different physiology, just from the belief. And in one large study that followed thousands of people for years, the people under heavy stress who believed stress was harmful had a higher risk of dying. The people under the same heavy stress who didn't see it as harmful, well, no increased risk. The stress didn't get them. The story about the stress did. Now, this is not new. The Stoics figured this out 2000 years ago. Epictetus said it was not events that disturb us, but our judgment about them. Marcus Aurelius said the obstacle in the path becomes the path. Same idea, just no lab coat. And here is a related idea in psychology called a transdiagnostic factor, a single trait that quietly shapes multiple areas of your life at once. Take perfectionism or rumination, chewing the same thought over and over and over. On their own, they don't cause anything, but carry a high dose and you are far more likely to develop depression, anxiety, whole stack of conditions. And here's the part that nobody talks about. The exact same perfectionism is probably also why you are good at your job, why your work is clean, why people trust you with hard things. One trait, pointed one way, it builds you. Pointed another way, it breaks you. It's not a bug to delete, it's a force to aim. Now, let me make this current because there's no louder example of this happening right now than AI. People are stressed about AI, and honestly, for good reasons. The ground is moving under a lot of us. I'm not going to stand here and tell you the fear is irrational. It isn't. None of us are really sure if we will have a job in a few years, including me. But watch what the story does. I know people, smart, capable people, who have decided AI is the thing that is going to end them. And living inside that story, they're frozen, anxious, playing pure defense. And here is the cruel part. That's the exact stress mindset researchers told us makes everything worse. The fear itself becomes the thing holding them back. And I've seen this with many people through my coaching. Then I know others. Some of my old colleagues at Meta, some of my coaching clients, standing in the same storm, facing the same uncertainty, who hold it completely differently. Their version goes, if this works out, incredible. If it doesn't work out, well, I'm finally gonna get to do something I've been curious about anyway. And they're actually already exploring this with or without the help of AI. Same risk, and they are thriving building, experimenting, weirdly energized by the whole thing. The AI probably wouldn't sort them into winners and losers. The story they wrapped around it would. So here is the frame I actually live by. I call it dual work, which is the point of this video. Almost everything you think is two competing jobs is secretly one job, serving two goals you assumed were enemies. Watch how fast this collapses things. For example, selling and serving. Coaches and founders agonize over this. Am I helping people? Am I just selling? But a good sale is service. If I know I can help you, then selling becomes a service. If I don't sell you, I can't serve you. In that way, it becomes the same act. Another example, your job and your job search. People treat these two opposites. I have to survive my current job while I hunt for the next one. No, doing your current work well is your best job search. Same work. I've helped countless people in my coaching do one kind of work that serves as both job and job search. The third example, boundaries and friendship. You think saying no costs you the relationship. Saying no is how you actually stay a good friend. Same move, because you don't get resentful over a long period of time. A couple more examples, resting and being productive. Actually, they're the same thing. Teaching your kids and learning yourself. Actually, the same thing. Building an audience and doing the work. There's a whole book on that one. Show Your Work by Austin Kleon. The showing is part of the making. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. You stop ping-ponging between the two tasks and realize you only ever had one. Let me make this stupidly concrete. A little while ago, I'm teaching my daughter the alphabet ABC. And I'm thinking, I know the alphabet. I've known it for close to 40 years. What could I possibly be learning here? It's all boring. Then it hit me. I don't know how to write with my left hand. So I started writing with my left hand when I'm showing her. Slowly, lefty, right alongside her. Took a couple months. Now I can. Then, what can I learn now? Well, I'm sitting across the table from her, so the letters are upside down to me. Can I write upside down? Now I can do that. Next, upside down and left-handed. I'm still working on the cursive ones. There is a lot of learning in every activity. So beware of sorting activities into one or the other pile. Teaching my kid and learning myself. And I thought these two were two different things. They were the same thing the whole time. That's the dual work. The most boring task you have is also a hidden curriculum, if you will look at it sideways. Now the deeper layer. The Buddhists have this idea that everything is an opportunity for realization. Not the good things, not the comfortable things, not the bad things, everything. And let me be honest, I'm not standing here loving every minute of my life. Of course I'm not. When my wife is upset at me and something is off in my business, I'm not thinking, oh, what a beautiful curriculum. Most of the time, I'm frustrated, like anyone else. But I had this moment once, 15 seconds lying in bed, doing a rough patch, agitated, and something flipped. I felt in my body, not my head, this is wonderful. This is exactly how I grow. If everything were easy, I wouldn't become the person I want to become. It lasted about 15 seconds and then my mind ruined it by trying to take notes. But I've never forgotten that. Byron Katie calls this loving what is, not pretending the hard thing isn't hard, just stopping the war with the reality long enough to notice it might be for you. It is a curriculum for you. So back to my $20 million loss. Did I really lose it? Here's the thing. Calling it a loss is a story, a pretty convincing one, but it is delusional. I never actually held that money. Who knows what price I would have sold the stock at? Who knows anything? And calling it the best thing that ever happened to me? Also delusional and also a story. But both are made up. I just get to choose which one I live inside. And the one where it was good for me, where it taught me how to actually deal with money instead of fearing it, that's the one that made me someone I would rather be. So the controversial thing I said at the start about losing $20 million being the best thing that happened to me, well, turns out it's not that controversial. It's just dual work. The loss and the gift were always the same event. I just had to be willing to see it. Now, instead of just chewing over this and watching this and moving on to the next video, I will say two quick things for you. One, if you want the full list of dual work pairs, the cheat sheet of two things you think are at war but aren't, comment the word dual below and I'll send it over. And two, if you are a high performer who keeps trying to get through your life instead of living it, that's literally the work I do with small number of clients. If that's you, put the comment below one-on-one work. And if there is an alignment, I'll be happy to talk with you about your situation. And until next time, make everything into dual work. Why? Because it's all one.